Hi, I'm Ashley from Sunnymead, and today on Last Blocks, we are going to talk about modern Welsh quilts. Hello, friends. I don't know if you're like me, but I always have a few fabric designers that I absolutely love, and every time they put out a line of fabric, I'm like, I need some of that. But I also tend to have a few quilters, a few designers that put out quilt patterns, and I love most of their quilt patterns. So today I want to introduce to you a pattern writer that goes by Modern Welsh Quilts. Her name actually is Zelda Lawrence-Curran. I came across her several years ago on Pinterest. It was one of those quilt patterns or pictures of a quilt, and I went, I want to make that. And then I went and found her on Facebook in a Facebook group, and I said, I'm looking for this quilt pattern. And she said, well, that one's not available yet. These are the ones I have available. And I fell in love with her designs. So let me tell you a little bit about Zelda. Zelda lives across the pond if you are in the United States, and she grew up with a very Welsh grandmother who taught her to sew many years ago. Um, and since then, she has been writing patterns and has been putting out these beautiful Welsh designs. Some of the options that she does when it comes to pattern writing is she puts out block of the months, and she'll have several going at one time, and you'll get, it's either 8, 10, 12 installments, and you get, at the beginning of each month, you get an installment sent to your inbox, and you have a beautiful quilt. She also does a program called Calendar Girls, where you sign up, you pay an upfront fee, and every month you get a new quilt pattern sent to you. She is very affordable, which is kind of what I like. In fact, I think when you do the Calendar Girls year, it's $6 a month. So it comes out to about $60 a year, and it is actually, that would be 72. My math in my brain did not work out that fast. Okay, so about $72 a year, and she does let you do them in installments if you want, or you can pay it all at one time. The other things that she does is she does specific block of the month programs where they are only, that quilt pattern is only available while it's in progress. So within that 8, 10, 12 month is the only time you can get that quilt pattern. And then once she has released that last installment of it, that is kind of the end of that quilt. You can't get that quilt pattern. And that's actually one of those that I came across on Pinterest, was one of her block of the months where it was a limited edition. She only um, put them out for a certain amount of time. And so I found her on Facebook, and she is super fun. And if you go into her Facebook group, it's Modern Welsh Quilts. I will put a link down in the description. She posts all the time about new ideas that she's coming with. She talks about where the ideas come from, how the Welsh quilting is part of it. There's always a story behind her quilts because she has a very specific colorway and the way it looks. And she just brings these colors in, a lot of monochromatic, but very colorful quilts. And there's these stories behind it that you just want to read about and you want to learn about. And they're just so much fun. The other things you'll see in her Facebook group, which is kind of fun, is she owns a huge farm, and she'll talk about her baby lambs and her grumpy husband, which is called Troll. She calls him Troll. And at one time I asked her why she called him Troll, and I don't quite remember, but it was kind of a funny story. That's all I remember. And also, there's this thing with pickles. And so if you see any weird foods that has to do with pickles, there will be posts in the Facebook group about pickles. And so it's just a really fun community. And today I want to show you a few of the quilts that I have finished. I don't have any that are completely finished. I have a couple of quilt tops that I'm going to show you, and a few of my work in progress. I do have a whole bunch that I want to make that I own the patterns for, but I have only so much time. And so I will show you a few that I'm working on. And I have two that are finished. And I just want to introduce you to modern Welsh quilts. I think they're gorgeous. I love the colors always, and I'm excited to show them to you. We're actually going to head outside. Our weather here isn't quite great. I don't know what's going on in Idaho, but it's the middle of June, and it's like 60 degrees outside and super windy. But I don't have a good spot to hang up my quilts, so we're going to go outside. Hopefully we can make this work, and you'll be able to hear me, and the wind won't get crazy, and you'll be able to see the designs, and I can show them to you. Okay, so this first one is called Mango Vanilla Fig. This particular quilt I'm actually finishing up for my niece. My mother-in-law is buying it for her graduation, and so this is actually why I wanted to show you a little bit about these quilts, because I love this quilt. I think it's actually absolutely gorgeous, but I also wanted to do it before I had to get rid of it. So as you can see, there are so much going on in these. So this was a block of the month, and kind of what she would have me do is she would say, make 8 of these and make 4 of those this month. And then we're going to make 4 of these this month. And then at the end, she tells you how to put them all together. Now, these weren't specifically the colors that she put in her pattern. She is very specific. She likes to use grunge fabrics, monochromatic, so she kind of keeps the color range in there, but she does do a pop of different colors, and to make her quilts, they just go together so well. In this quilt, mango, vanilla, and fig are the colors. If you think about those colors, are the colors she used. So she used the oranges, she used the greens, she used a dark purpley. So I did to stick to some of them, but I used an ombre fabric with the dots. This is called confetti ombre that I used, and I added in a few other colors because I liked the colors. So here is her first one, and what do you think? Isn't it absolutely gorgeous? So this is one of her limited edition ones. She actually has 2 collections that she used. She has a mini limited edition, and she has a castle limited edition. This is one of her minis. It's called Afan Salva. It's usually named after something specific, usually in the Wales countryside. And yes, these are the colors that she designed the quilt pattern around. I did not stray this time. I liked the colors, and I actually liked this greenish color as a background. I wouldn't normally use it, but I think it's such a beautiful use of color that I wanted to try it out. It definitely stepped me out of my comfort zone. And so some of the things that she would have us do one month was, 4 of the or 8 of these, and then she'd say do 4 of these, and there was 8 of these one month. And so you have this beautiful quilt, the designs, the stars. Of course, I like stars. There's always stars in her pattern, and it's such a beautiful use of color. Now this quilt is this is just the center of the quilt. I haven't completed the rest of it. This is called Jade Garden. This is probably one of my favorite ones that she has written. I love the colors that she used. I love the way she put them together. and I love the pieces. I just love stars. And she has the most magnificent stars around. You should see this quilt when it's done. I will definitely do a video when it's done so I can show it to you. Um, but this is just the center of the quilt. I did make one little change to this from the original written pattern. Is the background here I used is a navy. She wrote the pattern to either have a white or a black, and I looked at the rest of the colors and I thought, I think a navy would be absolutely stunning, and I'm loving how it turned out. It has been sitting in my closet for a while, so it may be something that I need to pull back out and finish. Okay, here's another one that I have that is all in pieces. This is called Ski Sunday. And just for an idea on how to use block of the months, I usually get a hanger, especially when I'm waiting for the next piece of the puzzle, and I will put my block of the month pieces on my hanger and hang it in my closet. I think this is super easy and super nice to be able to use it this way. So this one is called Ski Sunday. So let me show you a couple of different things, a couple of different months. So I have this one. This was once one a month. I think I made 8 of those. Oh, there's a few more of those. A star, of course. This block is absolutely gorgeous. Okay, and then here is the center of the quilt. And I have all the pieces. It's time to actually put it all together. These are the colors of the quilt. I used thatch on this, however, instead of grunge, like she wrote about in her quilt pattern. But I really like the way the thatched comes together and it works in it. Now, most of her quilts, she does use grunge. Sometimes she uses them solids, but most of them are grunge. There's not usually a pattern fabric. They're usually just blenders that she uses. And so she has a whole wide range of grunge and in her quilt patterns, and she uses them each month. I don't have as good access to all the grunge, so when it's time for me to pick out fabric for my quilts, I just go and do what I have as an option for me. So here I use thatched. The last two I use solids, and I think the solids came out great. I just try to get them as close to the color as she requests. And that first one, I used a confetti. It's a ombre confetti ombre by V and Company. And that was actually a good choice because she used, different hues of the same color. So I could use the darker part for part of it and the lighter part for another part of it. You don't have to do the colors that she puts in her quilts, but part of the thing is that's why I like her quilts, is because of her color choices and how she puts them together. So tell me, what do you think? Do you like that style, or do you like repeats? I call these repeats, where you do the same block over and over again and then you put them together. So that's what I call a repeat quilt. Or do you like these modern Welsh quilts that have a whole bunch of different blocks, lots of going on, lots of color? What kind of quilts do you like to make? I will make sure and link to her website and to the Facebook group down in the description box, so you can go find her if you would like to sew along with us. She has such a fun community over there on Facebook, and I hope you have a great week. Happy sewing!